I want sex.
So do I, but I see no reason to drag you into it.
So after watching every season twice in a row without sleeping, I am ready to tell you the top 25 funniest episodes of Married with Children.
So now tell me where you're really going.
If you're a fan, you know there are so many great moments, so it was tough to make this list. But I do believe these are the shoes that really shine the brightest. The epitome of the legendary Fox sitcom Married with Children. Oh boy, let's go. Season 1, Episode 1, Pilot. If you've watched my countdowns before, you've heard me say it. The pilot is the most important thing a show's gotta nail. So how did Married with Children do when it sat us down on the Bundy couch for the very first time? It was April 5th, 1987. We see Al at a low point, but of course it is not his lowest, we'll get to that. We witness the amazing, non-existent cleaning work of Peggy. And of course, we welcome the new neighbors. The contrast is always a blast to watch between Team Bundy and Team Rhodes.
Isn't that an awful lot of coffee you're putting in there?
Yes.
And this episode establishes that. The bickering and kinds of problems we see in this episode, well, it kinda sets the tone for a long, hilarious, dismaying journey. And the pilot, well, it gets a solid 8 stars, plus some tickets to Sunday's game as a bonus. It's no wonder Fox re-aired the pilot for the 25th anniversary, and almost 3 million people tuned in, myself very proudly included. Hey, if you like the pilot, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Like now would work. Okay, thanks, moving on. Season 1, Episode 2, Thinnergy. If there's one thing we learned quickly about the Bundy household, it's that just about everyone is pretty unhappy.
Mom, Dad,
You're grounded.
So Peggy hears about this newfangled diet that just might help make some sparks fly between she and Al. But that means, well, you know how every household works. Everyone has to be on that diet. And while it does turn the temperature up, but I think it's more from Al's temper having to do portion control and all that good stuff. We've all heard of that new idea or fad we just can't get out of our heads. The one that might fix everything. Get me into that old pair of pants. And well, it was fun to see it play out with the Bundys.
Eat it!
I remember watching this episode and thinking, boy, they get it. I mean, I was on a diet at the time and I hated it, Al style. And for that, I give the episode, okay, portion control, a 7 stars and an extra serving of dessert. Shh. Season 1, Episode 5, Have You Driven a Ford lately? Episode 5. It shows us the immortal, enduring bond between some guys and the hunk of junk car that they decided they had to restore.
Marcy, we just wanted you to know we rebuilt one of the carburetors in the Mustang.
For real, I totally mean it this time. It's gonna be great, and yes, I know what I'm doing. For just a bit, Al is living the dream, or something kinda like it anyway. We do get a dream sequence later in the episode, and it's fantastic. It's the best it's been for our buddy anyway, and between Al and Steve, it's the most they've got along. But leave it to Al and Steve to make this restoration of this car take quite a while. And well, you just know Peg and Marcy are gonna have some words about that, especially when you're making them wait to go to the restaurant. Again, this sitcom and this episode are so great because it's relatable. We've gotten the wholesome stuff we could admire in places like Mayberry. But this Chicago neighborhood, well, it's different. But it's something we can still laugh right along with. This one was enjoyably grounded, I thought, and it made me downright nostalgic for watching my old man in the garage fixing up his old neglected Pontiac. I had a wrench I would wave at a tire feeling like a big shot. And my mom, well, she was a bit more forgiving than Peg and Marcy were, that's for sure. But hey, this one gets 9 stars for letting Al cut loose on the road in his dream sequence, which I loved, and also letting Marcy and Steve get frisky in the back seat. Touche, y'all, touche. Season 1, Episode 13, Johnny Be Gone. Episode 13 saw Married with Children wrap up its inaugural season, and thankfully, it stuck the landing wrapping things up. Just as wonderfully dysfunctional as we began. This time, the kids contribute their own ways of messing up some plans when Kelly and Bud have problems that need the wise, level-headed, compassionate minds of their dear parents, who really want to swing by this burger joint before it closes forever. Decisions, decisions. There isn't a problem out there that mom and dad can't fix, right? Well, it's not very inspiring when your dad is reading a manual upside down and can't find the instructions in English. That always gets a huge laugh out of me every time. It's the perfect example of Al Bundy doing his parental best. This fine episode gets 9 stars from me as we wrap up Season 1 and further prove the Bundys are here to stay. Season 2, Episode 5 and 6, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. Yeah, I'm cheating a bit here, cause it's a 2-parter. But you could say cheating is a bit in keeping with the theme, huh? See what I did there? Well, in Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, the episode begins with some of the best stuff we've seen so far. And that, well, it's Al being a pig. When Al and Steve are comparing the fridge repair lady's buttocks to random items.
Yeah, looks like 2 little kittens playing gently under some denim.
This is why America watched. For Al saying things on TV that, well, our dad did, our granddad did, for better and for worse. But no one was watching, right? No, Marcy was right behind them, great. And when Marcy and Peg get even with the guys for checking out another woman, well, they have themselves a night out at a strip club. And anything innocent goes down the drain when Marcy's wedding ring also goes down the drain.
It's gone! Peggy, I've lost my wedding ring down Zorro's pants!
Also going down is Al's net worth thanks to Peggy's new favorite hangout. Now this episode proves that Married with Children is just the perfect storm of flawed people making choices that feel like they were made in a lab to be perfectly the worst. And in typical MWC fashion, everything just snowballs and dominoes and the mess explodes into a bigger one. And so for a perfect dose of chaos and scandal and strip clubs and kittens, I give the episode 7.5 stars. Season 2, Episode 13, You Better Watch Out.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Ho ho ho, we have a Christmas episode in Chicago. And no, it's not a John Hughes movie. But we do have a parachuting Santa crash landing into the Bundys' Christmas Eve. I guess Rudolph couldn't make the trip this year. So this one, it's so good, and you can literally see Al, aka Ed O'Neill, breaking character, kind of laughing when Santa crash lands. It's just so absurd.
Santa's gone. I'll never be able to enjoy Christmas again.
Anywho, this episode hits hard for parents trying their best to give their kiddos a good Christmas. Because Al couldn't really afford presents this year. But honestly, he got the pizza tradition going on Christmas Eve, great tradition. And I think this episode, well, it serves as almost a second pilot. Oh wait, a third pilot? Because they had an unaired one with a different kids cast. Anyway. But what I mean is, we established that the Bundys, yeah, they're poor. They're just scraping by like so many of us. And yeah, the show might be too dark for some, but for others, it's showing the light in a dark time. And for that, this episode is definitely getting my first 10 out of 10. I watch it every single Christmas. Season 2, Episode 18, The Great Escape. This is a great one because Kelly gets her time in the spotlight, but probably not the way she wanted. It's time for some Bundy discipline when that poor report card gets her grounded.
F, D. What happened, Kel? You attend one.
But she can't exactly stay in her room on account of the house getting fumigated for termites. Kelly is a great sport about the whole thing, except she's set on going to a concert, and her plans of escape go as smoothly as you'd expect. The whole setup, from getting the family out of the house and into the shoe store,
Everybody gets a sleeping bag. Don't rush, there's one for everyone.
to Kelly making her big bid for freedom, was just a hilarious ride from start to finish. And in a sea of good episodes, this one manages to stand out for just being a fun time all around. I award it 8 stars. Season 2, Episode 20, Just Married with Children. Our final entry from Season 2, you better believe the game show episode was making this list. We start out further establishing that yeah, the Bundys are trash, just like you and me. Because they go through Marcy's mail to find this opportunity to be on a game show called How Do I Love Thee?
Hello there, and welcome to How Do I Love Thee?
Where the objective, well, it's a Bundy strength, surviving physical torture from one spouse. They crush it, obviously. Just try not laughing every time Al sees the sexy game show assistant. I mean Steve, yeah, Steve.
God, I love you.
This one might be a bit far-fetched, but I loved it, and so it gets, show me the board. 8 stars and a new car! Season 3, Episode 1, He Thought He Could. We start out Season 3 with an absolute classic episode. It's a great premise, it's a bad dream we've all had. An overdue library book from the 1950s. Yikes, that's gonna be a lot of dimes. So Al has to face his worst nightmare, a librarian he's dodged for decades. So Al kinda gets beat down this episode. Again, this ain't a normal sitcom. When he tries to sneak the book back in, he triggers the new motto which goes, "Don't Bundy that book." A library motto about treating books with care and attention. It's catchy at least, but you really feel for Al in this one. His monologue is what really cements this episode on this list. You know, the one that starts out with, "So you think I'm a loser? Just because I have a stinking job that I hate, a family that doesn't respect me, a whole city that curses the day I was born." Yeah, it's sad, but it's also terribly funny, and I had never seen anything like it before. Season 3 starts out with a bang, and I give it 9 stars. Season 3, Episode 4, The Camping Show. Season 3 keeps up the momentum here with an absolutely hilarious trip to good old Mother Nature. The guys are all set to have a men's day out on the water, but hold on just a second and let me just invite Marcy. Oh, and of course she wants to invite Peggy, who's going to invite Kelly. Who's Kelly gonna invite? Well, how about a bear? On account to her, well, time of the month. Little fun fact, the episode was originally titled A Period Piece, but Fox's censors thought it would offend women, even though the episode was written by 2 women. I almost feel bad for Al in this one, because any hopes he had for some peace and quiet, some R&R, it gets totally blown to pieces. And just when you think it couldn't get any more unrelaxing, oh, it gets so much more unrelaxing. For delivering some of the best humor this series has offered to date, The Camping Show, which this episode is now so lamely titled, gets 8.5 stars for me. For answering that age-old question, if a tree falls in the forest and a bear fights an Al Bundy, does any of that make any noise? Yes, it does. And the sound? Well, it's laughter, because I cannot take that real bear seriously. It's a great episode. Season 4, Episode 1, Hot Off the Grill. We've reached the opening of Season 4, and I do think it's pretty clear by now that Married with Children sure knows how to open a season and assure us it's ready to deliver. It's not often we get a Labor Day episode, but the Bundys know how to stretch my love of holiday-themed episodes here. And Al, well, he knows his way around the barbecue. Just, hey, next time Al, I'll take a little less of the dusting of Marcy's aunt on my burger. Okay, thanks. And Peggy, well, she knows her way around some cleaning tools. Say it ain't so. Turns out the change of pace is the very thing that can get the sparks flying between them. The way no romantic Valentine's Day chocolates ever could. Which is the funniest direction the writers could have possibly taken. I think this is the payoff to dozens of episodes of the same running gag, and they executed it perfectly. This one really feels like a Katie Sagal standout episode. She just shines. And for that, I know you've been waiting for it. Another 10 out of 10, one of my favorites. I guess I need to remember to watch this one every single Labor Day, too. Season 4, Episode 11 and 12, It's a Bundiful Life. Okay, yeah, I know I have a problem. Hello, my name is Nostalgic Nick, and I'm addicted to Christmas episodes. But I do think this one deserves to be in the top 25 episodes of Married with Children, because it's great. This one's totally cool because we get the original choice for Al Bundy guest starring, with Sam Kinison as Al's guardian angel. Not only that, but this one's also Ted McGinley's first episode, but he's not exactly Jefferson Darcy yet. He played Norman Jablonski in this one, the dream dad. I do love how sitcoms sometimes just say, nah, it doesn't matter, we already used that actor, he's great. And he really was. Ted definitely adds some energy when he joins the cast as a regular. Okay, anywho, back to Christmas. Obviously, this two-parter is a play on It's a Wonderful Life, and it's really funny to see the alternate reality of Bundys. Peggy bakes and sews, Kelly is a studious college-goer, Bud's respectful. And all of these seemingly perfect habits, well, they just drive Al up the wall. It's hilarious, and this one gets 9 stars for the wonderful back and forth between Ed O'Neill and Sam Kinison. It's just really great. And if you haven't seen this episode, please watch it. Or maybe just wait till Christmas and then have a wonderful watch party of both part 1 and 2. Enjoy, and Merry Christmas. Season 4, Episode 18, What Goes Around, Came Around. Our final Season 4 episode, which hey, might be my favorite season. It's just so good from start to finish. Okay, let's get into it. Bud's trying to get back at the popular girl who ran his undies up the flagpole, and looky who it is. Why, that's Kelly Kapowski,
Hi, Bud. Are we still on for the dance Friday?
I shall drink in your beauty.
aka Tiffany Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. But instead of putting his bully on full notice, it's Marcy who's noticed for all the wrong reasons. This one's really cool again, cause for all the crap each family member delivers to one another, when things get dirty elsewhere and someone else tries to hurt the family, you know, as families do, they support each other. Kelly comes to Bud's defense, which I really enjoyed seeing, and I do think this one has some genuine heart, and for that, I give it 8 stars. It's great. Season 5, Episode 9, Do You Think I'm Sexy? Okay, so when Al bare-chested moves a sofa off a neighbor's lawn, well, he is now the talk of the neighborhood ladies, because they're swooning over this near-stealer body in the cul-de-sac. Even Marcy sees him in a new light, trying to catch him in his new zebra print underwear. Surely this won't go straight to Al's head now, will it? Of course it does. And this one is one of my all-time favorite Al Bundy episodes, and Season 5 continues to be really strong after a wonderful 4th. Al's un-Al-like positivity in this one is what drives the episode, and it's a great time all around. Also, all of the neighborhood women are super attractive, so it's a great watch, and I give it 8.5 stars. Wait, that's too high, I don't want it to go to Al's head. 7 stars, it's still great. Season 5, Episode 21 and 22, You Better Shop Around. Yeah, I'm cheating again, including You Better Shop Around as one when it's 2 parts. But this is truly one of the crowning jewels of Married with Children. We all know the woes of managing a heat wave, especially with faulty equipment. So Al does the reasonable thing and gets an AC that just so happens to be from World War II. So of course, Al becomes the menace of the neighborhood when that hunk of junk knocks out all the power on the street. And you can imagine everyone's not really feeling in that, well, love thy neighbor mood. But the Bundys are in for yet another surprise when they hightail it to the grocery store.
Did I promise you the good life?
You know, think supermarket sweep. It's difficult to say, but this one really might be my favorite episode, besides that first Christmas one, which has a special place in my heart. Every inch of this 2-parter is just full of classic Bundy silliness. It's almost like a Married with Children Looney Tunes episode, from Al trying to use that outdated death trap of an AC, to the Bundys and Darcys trying to win $1,000 worth of groceries. Plus, we get a great cameo from Beaver Cleaver himself, Mr. Jerry Mathers as himself. So yeah, this one does get another sacred 10 out of 10 stars. It is classic MWC stuff. Season 6, Episode 3, If Al Had a Hammer. Will Al Bundy ever get a break? Season 6, Episode 3 says, nope. Not even when his trusty, patent-pending Bundy hammer helps him build his own personal room.
I found my father's hammer.
You know, the original man cave. Give the guy a break. He just found out that his very busy household is getting even busier with Peg's pregnancy. And well, even his new man cave soon gets overtaken by the calls of the stress, all the pregnant ladies. And this one really hit home for Ed O'Neill, or at least his worlds kinda collided here, because Ed's real-life wife, Catherine Rusoff, is now in the Bundy household. She guest starred in this one as Betsy. At least Bud is having better luck, being reborn from the ashes as the one and only Grandmaster B. This one is probably David Faustino's funniest episode.
For me, it's a lonely life for Grandmaster B. Yes, a lonely life for Grandmaster B.
And of course, what would be the top 25 funniest episodes of Married with Children without the birth of Grandmaster B? Did you know that David Faustino really did want to become a rapper? When he was like 18, he tried to capitalize on the name and started a club in Hollywood. This episode gets a solid 7 stars from me, and hopefully a shout out on Grandmaster B's next multi-platinum album. Season 6, Episode 14, The Mystery of Skull Island. Maybe season 6 is the season of Bud, and not just because Peggy is absent from a bunch of early episodes, but because this is yet another great Bud episode.
That's how I like it.
Also in the spotlight is one of the girls he's dating, who is into bad boy daredevil types. Surely Bud Bundy can pull that off, right? Well, no. It's highlighted by the great dialogue, well, from the fetal position, I can kill in 3 different ways. That's great writing. And things aren't exactly much better in the world of love for Al, Marcy, and Jefferson when they try to play that relationship-based board game. I really like it when Married with Children has a kind of overarching theme or topic that all the characters are dealing with. And so, Al and Bud together make this one an elite top 25 funniest episode for sure. My favorite part has gotta be Bud skydiving. The best line of the episode is, "There's nothing pelicans won't eat." I mean, it's just hilarious. And so I have no ethical dilemma here. This one gets 9 stars and a get out of jail free card. Season 7, Episode 18, Peggy and the Pirates. Moving on to Season 7, and for all you saying just skip Season 7 and the dreaded addition of the character 7, no, I have to choose one.
Damn wind!
And this one is the lone entry of the top 25 funniest MWC episodes. Because I think it's one of the most uniquely different episodes, Peggy and the Pirates. Not counting the Dream episode, which we actually cover in another heartbreaking video, so watch that one next. But here it's all wild adventure. It's goofy cameos, if you can call them that, and particularly hilarious line deliveries from the entire cast in their brand new roles. But this one's also sentimental, because it's the final episode featuring the character of 7, which just absolutely never worked in my estimation. And so, for a daring format that they executed perfectly, I give this tale from the high seas 8 stars and a chest of gold. Season 8, Episode 7, Take My Wife, Please. Alright, our first Halloween episode makes the top 25 Married with Children episodes. This one is terrific.
And you wonder why stars leave their wives.
Peggy is the Grim Reaper, and we get the actual village people for Marcy's party, both the Bundy version and the real ones. And can I just say, Katie Seagal in that wig? Oh boy, she would have made a wonderful Morticia Addams.
This is not going to work.
It can't work.
Seriously, what else do you need? Some great moments in this one, like the kid dressing up like the dinosaur that spits. It's terrific, and it's a great Halloween episode. I gave it 7 stars and a handful of candy corn. Season 8, Episode 15, Honey, I Blew Up Myself. Of course, you generally want to start with the pilot when you start a new show, but if anyone wanted to just jump into the middle of Married with Children and maybe get a great fake pilot, I always point to Season 8, Episode 15. Peggy gives Al a sexy photo of herself, but it ends up on a billboard right outside of Al's store. And oh look, suddenly all these other guys think Peggy's pretty. Now Al's got a nasty case of jealousy. It's the perfect response to all these years of neglect, especially since jealousy is the perfect wake-up call to the fact that, hey, Katie Seagal is 1000% beautiful.
Right.
And all this time, Kelly and Bud are every single one of us when we were trying to get gifts for our parents. This episode, it's just hilarious from start to finish. From the way the billboard backfires to Bud and Kelly's desperate search for Al's birthday gift. I give this episode the gift of 9 stars for being a great sampling of everything that made Married with Children so very successful. Season 9, Episode 16, Get Out of Dodge. Alright, on to Season 9. The family gets to go see Peggy's mother. But first, you know how dads are. They find the most opportune time to do any old chore. Usually it coincides with like a big family gathering.
He's got it right.
Well, this time Al has to stop at the car wash to clean the rusty old Dodge. And of course we get lots of dirty jokes and solid humor in this one. Like Steve faking he was a businessman when he was actually just a driver. It's probably my favorite joke. It's always good to see old friends again too, like Steve's actor David Garrison. This one's definitely a top 10 in the entire series for me, one of the best later season episodes for sure. The car was looking so different when it finally got clean that Al thought it was a different color. But it all leads to a really heartwarming moment actually with that family photograph. That's why I love this show. It was so real, a family that fights together, stays together, right? This episode is a hoot and it does get 9.5 stars from me, close to perfect. Season 9, episode 27, Shoeless Al. There was a line, and Married with Children crossed that line in Season 9, episode 27 with Shoeless Al.
Well, come on, Griff. You can't compete with my charm.
A burglar defies the sanctity of this unhappy, miserable, crude man's mediocre shoe store,
A fat woman hedgehogged her way into the shoe store today.
leaving him tied up overnight. But wait a second, Al has a plan to get even with a big old lawsuit that's gonna help him deal with his shoe-based trauma. If he can go a week without wearing shoes on the eve of the bowling finals, unfortunately, you can't really bowl barefoot. What's a man to do when it comes to choosing between a deserved payout and the prized bowling league? I mean, you can't turn your back on your teammates, right? Coming from one bowler to another, I don't care what your handicap is, you better not handicap your fellow bowlers. I really love Ed O'Neill in this one, and perhaps I'm biased because we're currently in 3rd place in my Tuesday night league, but I so badly want to make it to the championship and be like Al. Don't worry, I will wear shoes. And so I give this episode 9 stars. If only I could have hit that 10 pin to make it a perfect 10. Season 10, Episode 7, Flight of the Bumblebee. Season 10, Episode 7 catches Bud trying desperately to become a member of No Ma'am, and he's getting help from his sister. All he has to do is wrestle the King Kong Bundy, not only a fierce competitor, but actually who the Bundy name was kinda playfully taken from.
Uh-oh.
Maybe that cute little bee costume will help. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But seeing Bee Bud get pummeled in the ring, it's a ton of fun for the audience. Especially if you love wrestling, which I do think so many of us did in the late 80s and early 90s. What a great era for wrestling. And so for giving me a solid wrestling episode, finally, thank you writers. I do give this one 8 stars and a nice takedown from the top rope. Season 10, Episode 24, Bud Hits the Books. Did you think the strip study game wasn't gonna make my top 25 funniest Married with Children episodes? Well, I am human after all, and this one is hysterical. It's also a bit hot and heavy, maybe kids cover your eyes. I mean, hey, who doesn't get aroused by the content of the books you're trying to study, right? Anywho, for the later seasons, this one is actually really good, and I do give it a B-. Oh, sorry, I mean 6.5 stars. It's probably, number 25 or 24 of the best MWC episodes. Season 11, Episode 22, The Desperate Half Hour. Okay, so the final season, well, it's my second least favorite season besides 7. But I will name one entry on the top 25 funniest MWC episodes, and that's episode 22. We learn that Bud's got a pen pal from the exotic faraway country of prison. Yeah, that tracks. And when his prison pals swing by for a family visit, well, it becomes a hostage situation. Yep, that also sounds about right for the Bundys. Maybe it's an excuse to lounge on the couch for just a bit longer, I'd believe it. The way this all quickly went downhill was pretty predictable, but it was executed in a hilarious way. And although the pen pal wasn't the best actress, the core family has a great episode and they really shine. The cherry on top was Kelly reaching a whole new low, falling for the prisoner's boyfriend. And so I do give this wild ride of an episode 7 stars and an extra 30 minutes of outside time.
What are you talking about?
Well, that was one marathon for the history books. But really, it is so clear why this show was such a big deal for Fox, and its first primetime hit that nobody really saw coming. Sure, it eventually fell apart, and in a bizarre series finale that we do cover in another video, so check that out.
It's a magnificent piece of machinery.
But one thing's clear from all these rewatches, the actors, I think they had as much fun filming as we did laughing along with the Bundys. So now I get to ask, this is my favorite part, okay? What is your favorite episode? Can you give me maybe a top 5? Hey, give me a top 25 if you have time. Did I have any stinkers on my list? Should I rank another sitcom's episodes? Well, get down below and tell me which one. Here at Do You Remember, we know the priceless value of human connection when we bask in our shared memories. So if you enjoyed the video, which we sure hope you did, please just click that thumbs up icon and make sure you're subscribed so you don't get left behind. But most importantly, from my entire team here at Do You Remember, we want to thank you so much for being here and for watching. Hey, share the video if you'd like, and have a wonderful day.